I'm Billy Womack, and this is my story. I was born in Florida, and my mother remarried. I was raised in a small town in Arkansas. There's not much to do out in the country where I grew up, so me and my brother it's almost like a Huckleberry Finn, if you will. We would go out in the woods and working with my father, who was in construction and a builder, so we would go out and work, and any free time that we had, it was all sports, 100%. Growing up, my whole dream, a lot of kids want to be doctors, attorneys, or firefighters. My dream was to play in the NBA, so I practiced, and eventually got a full-ride basketball scholarship. A lot of the guys I played summer league basketball with, Derek Fisher from the Lakers, Corliss Williamson from the Pistons, all ended up going into the NBA. Me having a full-ride basketball scholarship, but blew out my knee and ended up going into the Air Force. As soon as I got there, it was real-world contingency. So I worked with the F-117 stealth bomber, which was the most advanced plane in the world at that time. So I got out and took my very first job ever in corporate America. By the end of my first job ever with corporate America, I became the #2 salesman in the world for a Fortune 500 company, which was GTE, now Verizon. After Air Force and corporate America, probably the toughest thing I went through was I tried my first drug at 27 years old. I was doing Hugh Hefner's private parties for Playboy. I was doing private parties for Ludacris, Mystical. Got in a lot of trouble when I owned my nightclub in Tampa, Florida. Went to jail, lost everything. I didn't feel like I really had any use in life at that point because I was a convicted felon. It was a lesson, not a life lesson, and learned how to forgive myself and pick myself back up and really kind of attack the world at that point. It was difficult being under probation, being able to have to report every single thing that you do, but you just have to live it day by day and just focus on each day and really focus on what it is you want out of life. And in my particular scenario, I just got a job. I overexceeded. I was the first one there in the morning. I was the last one to leave, and very fortunate for me, it kind of took off in real estate, and I started making really good money, and I just kept leveling up with every opportunity that I got. In 1999, a lot of professional athletes were paying anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 to build their own website. It was more of a bragging right scenario. A lot of these athletes back in those days were paying $20,000 to $30,000 to build a website. Then they had to hire somebody to run that website. So they knew nothing about websites. They knew nothing about running a business. So what we did was we come in and told one of these professional athletes, we'll build, design, maintain your professional website for you, and we'll split it 50-50. So you're not going to have to come out of pocket any money. And then we outsourced that to a Canadian company for hundreds of dollars instead of tens of thousands of dollars. We had about 45 professional athletes that we did this for. 8 years ago, I was Googling blockchain and Walmart, blockchain FedEx, blockchain, all these major corporations trying to learn about cryptocurrency and blockchain. And I noticed that every one of these Fortune 500 companies were utilizing blockchain. So I posted on my social media, who do you know that's in cryptocurrency or blockchain? And everybody said, don't do it, it's a scam. And one person stood out and said, hey, we need to meet right away. I've got somebody you need to talk to. That individual, we went to lunch. He was smart enough to put me on the phone with his mentor, which became a good friend of mine. He said, listen, if you want to learn about blockchain, if you want to learn about cryptocurrency, I'd be happy to help you. We're going to Reykjavik, Iceland here in about a week and a half. Why don't you come up and learn? At that time, I didn't have a lot of money. My business was kind of upside down. And so I said, sure, no problem. What's a trip like that cost? $8,000 or $9,000, $10,000? He said, that sounds about right. So I was like, oh, wow. Thinking to myself, well, I'm kind of broke at this moment, so how do I come up with this money? So I said, listen, why don't you give me a quota to hit for the week? If I hit this quota, pay for my trip to Iceland, then we'll get to meet. He said, that's funny. I didn't know I offered that for you. I said, you're going to want to meet me, though. Sure enough, he goes, all right, hotshot, why don't you go sell 50,000 of hardware miners, and I'll see you in Iceland. I said, all right, can you tell me a little bit about them? He said, no, go do it. So I said, oh, wow, okay. So I called him back 3 days later. I said, hey, would you like my flight information? He said, no, I need you to go sell. I said, well, I did that. He said, you sold $50,000 of miners, not knowing what they are in the last 3 days? I said, no, I sold $350,000 worth. He said, you got to be kidding me. So he pulled up his back office. He looked in his back office. He saw that I made those signs. He took my information. A week later, I was in Reykjavik, Iceland, learning about blockchain. Fast forward 12 months later, I was in 12 countries, flying around on his private jet, learning about blockchain and cryptocurrency. The last 8 years of my life now has been focused on blockchain and educating other people on blockchain and cryptocurrency. What I enjoy most about what I currently do is giving back. I don't have to get up and work every day. I get up with a purpose, and our whole motto with where I work is blockchain with a purpose. We're out here to change lives. To hear a grown man and a grown woman call you crying, just being thankful, that's why I get up every single day, and there's story after story after story. Everything I've went through in the past is worth it now just because I have this opportunity to get up and help other people. If I could go back and tell myself at 20, you're gonna make some mistakes, take those licks on the chin, get up, don't beat yourself up. You're gonna make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. Just pick yourself up, do the best you can. Life's gonna work out just fine.